All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, Call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, KAKADASH. Double honors to the positive Israel, aka the positive great millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, real quick, so I have this article. I remember I seen this a few days ago, and this article is from 4 days, but it's actually stemmed from something I seen earlier involving the guy, I think his name is Chuck Schumer or Ted Schumer, or whatever the fuck his name is. He was going on and on about the small hats, like, yo, basically how basically, yo, they should keep supporting them, and like they need all the support, and they should deserve all the support, so on and so forth. So all these politicians, all these motherfucking government officials of America, they all share that same sentiment for the most part. Now, I was looking for a video of that, but then I seen something something came across my feed, and something that Trump said, the president of the United States said about a whole nother country. Well, we're involving a whole nother country, because if you didn't know, America and the small hats attacked Iran not this Saturday just passed, but the Saturday before that, because we're now approaching day 8 or day 9, and this conflict, they call it, with America and the small hats. Now, this might have been the most honest thing I ever heard Trump say. Now, I have this article. This is from People magazine, and it says, Trump says, I guess Americans should worry about Iran retaliating on U.S. soil. Like I said, some people will die. And that's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. A lot of people are going to die over here on the soils of America, man. Because America is what? Babylon the Great. There's an immense amount of scriptures that talk about this place's destruction, and how a lot of people are going to be, put to death on this side, on this soil. A lot of Jake, too. All right, so I'll dive right into it. It says, President Donald Trump reiterated that lives will be lost amid the unfolding military conflict with Iran, and a new cover story for Time. Asked whether Americans should worry about being attacked on U.S. soil, Trump acknowledged the possibility, saying, I guess. Can you believe that? Here it is. You yes or no. Let your yays be yay and your nay be nay. You talk, I guess. That's like saying, like, yo, you ask somebody, like, yo, would you like cheese on your burger? I guess, it don't really matter. Because when you say something along the lines of, I guess, like, to you, that don't really matter. It's like, basically, you don't care. You don't care if American soil is going to be attacked, because why? You're not going to be here. You're going to be in your nice little secure bunker, more than likely. But don't worry, though, YAHAWASHI going to handle you. But anyway, it said the remarks come days after 6 U.S. service members were unalived in a retaliatory drone strike abroad. It says, asked if Americans should worry about Iran retaliating against Americans on U.S. soil, President Donald Trump responded, I guess, for the latest Time cover story titled Trump's War, which was published on Thursday, March 5th, which was last Thursday. It says, this past Thursday, so it says, correspondent Eric Cortellisa questioned Trump about the details of the unfolding war with Iran. In a pointed moment, he was asked whether it's reasonable for Americans to have concerns about being attacked at home. I guess Trump responded, but I think they're worried about that all the time. We think about it all the time. Now, you see, that's an enchantment. You're trying to say, oh, we worried about that all the time. No, we talk about this for this conflict. Because this conflict is a little more serious. A lot more serious, actually. It says, we plan for it, but yeah, we expect some things. Like I said, some people will die. The president added, when you go to war, some people will die, which is absolutely correct. But the thing is, that wasn't a direct answer. And then you're going to say, oh, well, we're worried about that all the time. That's deflection. And this is why you're going to have a lot of sedition among men, which I'm going to get. You have a lot of sedition among men as far as why you're going to have it. Because the sedition among men, it's numerous things. But the times we're in now, it's more so revolved around these small hats. Because a lot of things of Americans' displeasure is involved in these small hats. And this present war that just started almost 2 weeks ago. Hold on 1 second. I'm turning on my tablet. So it says his level setting about possible American casualties comes days after six U.S. service members were killed in a retaliatory drone strike abroad following the joint U.S.-Israel attack on Iran. The fallen service members have been identified as Captain Cody, whatever the fuck their names is. It's believed to be the sixth individual who died as a result of the drone strike, the Pentagon said. It says more than 1,000 people total were believed dead as of Wednesday, March 4th, as a result of the conflict in the Middle East, which has impacted surrounding nations. Because it's not just America, Israel, and Iran. You got all the Middle East countries, all them Islamic Republic countries. You got all those countries with the base that got U.S. base over there, Kuwait, Qatar, I want to say Beirut, and a couple other places. It says relief operations are ongoing with 1,009 emergency response teams deployed across 153 affected counties, the Iranian Red Crescent Society said per the Wall Street Journal. The Time cover story was released 4 days after 3 people, including a gunman, were killed and another 14 were injured in a mass shooting in Austin, Texas. That is being investigated by the FBI as a potential act of terrorism. The 53-year-old gunman, later identified as whatever, opened fire at Buford's Bar on West 6th Street in Austin just before 2 a.m. local time on March 1st. According to reports that CNN, the Associated Press, and CBS News, he was wearing a sweatshirt that said property of Allah over a shirt that had an Iranian flag on it. That's interesting because the dude looked like a Hamite. It says, obviously, it's still way too early in the process to determine an exact motivation, but there were indicators on the subject, and then there's his vehicle that indicate a potential nexus to terrorism. FBI San Antonio acting special agent in charge, Alex Doran, said in a press conference after the attack. And that's pretty much all. But the main thing, it says what? Trump says, they asked Trump, are you worried, should Americans be worried about an attack on U.S. soil from Iran and whatnot? He said, I guess. Just nonchalant about it. I guess. That's like asking, yo, you want a little bit of macaroni and cheese? I guess. Do you think such and such, like some kind of small talk conversation? I guess. So give me 1 second. Let me get the scripture real quick. Let my tablet a little buffer. In 1 second. Okay. Because it's going to be on. And matter of fact, it's on already. This already started. Them attacking Iran again. And now Iran is retaliating way more fierce than they did last time around. Fuck. Come on. Oh, don't be. I knew you had 100%. There we go. This fucking tablet acting stupid. So I'm gonna go to the book. Oh, what the fuck is it? So... Second address. I think it's 15. So I'm going to get to this whole chapter is going to jump right to the point. So this is 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 14, and it reads, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Now, when you go in the second address, I believe, what, that 6 and 9, where it talks about Esau at the end of the world, Jacob's the beginning of it that followeth. We are now in Esau's world. This is Esau's kingdom. President Trump, Putin, Bibi, all these niggas, they're all Edomites, so-called white people. And this is their kingdom, this is their world. And the Lord said, what? A kingdom divided against itself. So you have all these Edomites divided. You have America divided amongst itself, all right? Verse 15, it says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men. So see there, people shall fight against another. Now, of course, you got Esau against Jacob always. You got these nations amongst each other fighting. You got nation against nation fight. You got Moab fighting against Moab with the whole China and Taiwan thing. Russia and Ukraine, Edomites. You got Jake still all beefing with each other. We're literally in a time of war right now. And it says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. The sword draweth nigh to this place. What did Trump just say in the article? They asked him, should Americans be worried about retaliatory strikes on the U.S. soil from Iran? And Trump says, I guess. I guess. Is it a yes or no? And then he danced around and said, well, they should always be worried about that. No, but are they not more worried now? Anyway, 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 16, it says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Now, what's going to be a major way, obviously, how it's going right now, how they're not going to regard their kings nor their princes? These small hats. Especially here in America. Now, you got, and a lot of other places, too. You got the whole thing involving Amalek in America, got everybody in all disarray, everybody fighting amongst each other. You had Iran, they had to apologize to their Gulf neighbors. Because of why? What's going on? Because of Esau. Everywhere he goes, he always is fucking destructive, man. Everywhere this devil goes. And now these devils now have the upper hand. This is their kingdom. So that's why so much violence and so much chaos, so much just pure destruction in this devil's kingdom, man. But now that we at his end, now the destruction is coming to his own self. Now he's about to get caught in his own snares that he laid privately. All right? Invading one, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Because why? You're going to have civil unrest. And what did YAHAWASHI say? A kingdom divided with civil war should be doomed, basically, roughly paraphrasing. And that's in the NLT. And what do you have erupting right now? Civil unrest, civil war. Not regarding their kings nor their princes. Why? Them small hats. Why? Because these U.S. government officials are bought and paid for by these small hats. And now the American people are seeing clearly and seeing more because now it's more publicized. We got to do what we can to stand for Israel. We got to do what we can to defend Israel. We have to do what we can. Where's Hashem at? Where's their God to protect them? If they such big and bad and they God-chosen people, why do they need so much of America's help? Explain that. That's what I want to know. Why do you need so much of another country of man help when you're supposed to have the one true living God in your corner? Then they talk about, they mentioned something with Amalek yesterday. I was watching something with the Young Turks. So they're trying to say that what's happening in Iran is because of the whole fulfillment of the prophecy, like what happened with Amalek. And I believe he said they mentioned the book of Numbers. Book of Deuteronomy. But they're causing the sedition among men, especially amongst America and throughout the earth, because you have a lot of countries, including NATO and EU countries as well, that are fully for what's going on in Iran. They want this to stop. Why? Because it's invading their peace. Same thing with the Edomites in America. They don't give a fuck that Iranians are being killed. They affect that it's bothering their peace and bothering their wallets, because now they're seeing that their taxpayer dollars are going to these dickheads. That's why they're angry. They don't give a fuck about Iranians. They don't give a fuck about nobody. Here it is. America's been bombing people for whatever amount of time. But now they see that, oh, now they don't have the upper hand no more. So now it's like, why did you start this war? But I thought America was big and bad. Anyway, continuing on, it says, a man shall desire, verse 17 of 2nd Ezra chapter 15, it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and should not be able to. Hey, what's going to be a main reason why people ain't going to be able to go to the cities? Destruction, checkpoints, all chaos happening in the city, man, closed off. Hey, the city might not even be existed, might not even exist. Cause you hear this, you got them bombing and shit out of the land of Israel right now, and you gotta think about it. That's getting ready for us, because these devils, you small heads, you're not gonna build it back up and then still dwell there for fucking many generations. That's not happening. The Lord has this all happening for a reason. The Lord has the Iranians, the Persians destroying the shit out of certain parts of Israel. Because why? That's not your land. And a major cleaning agent is what? Fire. So the Lord has fire coming down to Israel, the land of Israel right now, because them damn devils that's there. You ain't gonna get peace. You ain't the ones where it says none shall make them afraid. Here, and they said you got a lot of them small hats leaving the land of Israel. So why? That's them, their own cities. Now they can't go into their own cities. Now they gotta flee. Now they gotta go to other countries. They gotta go to Poland. They gotta go to Romania. They gotta go to all these other countries. But we're supposed to be in the homeland. That's supposed to be the holy land for the Lord's chosen people. But yeah, you're leaving because why? It's bombs being dropped left and right. And the Iranians ain't letting up. So call on YAHAWASHI for that. But continuing on, says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's what's happening over there in the land of Israel. That's what's happening over there in Iran. That's what's happening over there in Russia. That's what's happening over there in Ukraine. You got cities that's been laid flat in Ukraine. You're having cities being laid out in Palestine, in the land of Israel. Laid flat. And it says because of their pride. Because why? They didn't consider the latter end. See, these heathens, these devils, these Edomites, they thought it was going to be like this forever, and the Lord wasn't going to come check them. They forgot that YAHAWASHI ain't rocking with them. They forgot that they were just spittle in a bucket. They forgot that they were nothing less than nothing in vanity. They forgot that. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Hold up. And now these heathens, now what? Now they're all afraid. Now they're all like, yo, we need to search for peace. We need to do this. Ain't no more peace. Because why? It's now time for the children of Israel to come up. And for you devils and you heathens to go down. Look up vanity. I think it's in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah. I know Isaiah had it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Isaiah chapter 40. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 40, verse 17, and it says, all nations before him, which is the Lord, YAHAWASHI, all nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. Then the Lord said, you're nothing, less than nothing, and vanity. You're triple nothing. You're triple dog shit. And these are the people that have opportunity and prosperity over the children of Israel. That's how we know we at the end, because now the Lord is bringing the fire to them. Now the Lord is bringing the heat. He's bringing the pain. Hey, you jump up to, hold on 1 second. Is that verse 15? Yeah, that's Isaiah chapter 40, verse 15 now. So it says, behold, the nations and other nations are what? The heathen, the Gentiles, the non-Israelites, the non-descendants of Jacob, including you devils who come from Abraham and Isaac, but not Jacob. You come from Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. And the Lord is just getting started. Man, remember, this war, this conflict, as they like to call it, it just started. It just started. I think they say, what, it's day 8 now? Day 8, day 9? But anyway, so Isaiah chapter 40, verse 15, it says, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And that's why so many Palestinians being put to death. That's why so many Iranians are being put to death. Because the Lord looks at them as nothing. He said they're nothing. They're a drop in a bucket. He said they're nothing, less than nothing, and vanity. So even when it talks about those youngins that was in that school over there in Iran, the Lord counted them as nothing. The Lord said the nations. He don't have to specify man, woman, and child. He said the other nations. He never rocked with the other nations. If he did, he would have given what? His law, statutes, commandments. He would have chose them. He would sup with them. He would give them their name. But he only has one chosen nation, and that's the children of Israel. And those are that's the only nation in this war and this stuff going on right now that don't have a dog in this fight. You see what they was able to do to Venezuela? Just get them the fuck out of here real easy. Because they ain't had shit. They ain't have nothing to go toe-to-toe with Esau, Edom. Neither do these other countries. Cuba don't. Venezuela don't. Or Ecuador, or whatever the fuck they talk about. Only way they could is if they have to have another nation backing them. Like Russia, like China, like Iran, so on and so forth. But aside from that, Jake don't got a dog in this fight. So people ask, so what are you going to do? I hope to be delivered when the fire comes. Because the fire is only getting hotter and the war is only getting worse and closer to hitting U.S. soil. Because America is Babylon the Great. It is the daughter of Babylon, which are to be destroyed by fire. Yep. So let me look at one thing real quick. Hold up. Americans upset the state about the state's oh, they don't got that. Got this one from 2 weeks ago. Hold up. Look, here we go. This is from the, what is this? I think it's called the New Republic. And it says, this is from February 23rd, 2026. It says, the real state of the union, millions of Americans are just disgusted. Millions of Americans are just disgusted. It says, yes, we're angry about what Donald Trump is doing to our country. But even more than that, we're heartsick over the countless ways in which he is destroying this nation. Now, mind you, this is February 23rd, and they attacked Iran February 28th. So we added more fuel to the fire, and Americans disgust. Which will cause why that they should not regard their kings nor their princes, and have sedition among men. Civil war, civil unrest, people versus the government. You're gonna have, just like you had in all these other countries, it's gonna be here in America, hot and heavy, real soon. You get pockets of it when it's like, some happen here, some happen there, but soon enough it's gonna be pure civil unrest. And it's gonna be, people gonna be like, yo, we need to take our country back. You got all these Edomites saying that kind of stuff. We need to take our country back. And take it from under the paws of the small hats. Because now everybody seeing like, yo, it's these motherfuckers, that's why we're fucked up. It's these motherfuckers why we're in a war with Iran. So let me go into this article real quick. So it's an article just to add on to the sedition among men and how they should not regard their kings or their princes, man. Because now it's like, yo, it's evident now that most Americans are not happy about what's going on. And now you added a whole nother war. You added a whole nother war to it. A whole nother conflict, if you will, whatever you want to call it. To where now you're going to have American soldiers being deployed left and right. And then being killed left and right, unalive left and right. And then Trump saying, I guess the Soyuz threat. I guess Americans should be worried about a retaliatory response from Iran. But anyway, it says this Tuesday night. So this was from February 23rd. So that was, hold on, let me see something. February 23rd. February 23rd was okay, so February 23rd was 2 weeks ago. So February 23rd was the actual Monday of the week, the Saturday before they attacked Iran. That Monday, the Monday of that week, February 23rd, because they attacked them what? February 28th. So it said he's already destroying the country in countless ways. So it said this Tuesday night, America will be, so that was the 24th, this 2 Tuesdays ago. It said this Tuesday night, America will bear witness to Donald Trump's first State of the Union address of his second term. I know the mere thought of it rots a little piece of our souls that we're never getting back. At least you can skip it. I have to watch it. When I was young, I used to love the pageantry of State of the Union addresses, even when Ronald Reagan was president. The part of me that honor our democratic customs enjoyed tuning into the C-SPAN pre-game show, as it were, and watching the senators and House members file into the chamber. But mind you, Democrats and Republicans are both bought off by Israel. They're both bought off by the small, so they got both parties in their palms. So it don't matter whether Democrat or Republican. It says, along with the cabinet members, it's as if we're watching the senators and the House members file into the chamber, along with the cabinet members and Supreme Court justices. The First Lady would take her seat in the gallery alongside invited guests. I like watching the president standing outside the rear door, and I love hearing the clerk of the House. In Reagan's time, he was appointed by House Speaker Tip O'Neill and thus spoke with a Boston accent as heavy as clam chowder bellow, Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States. It says, what the fuck? It says Reagan will go on to spend the next hour in change promoting ideas and policies that I found largely repugnant. Even so, I appreciated the ceremony of the event. The State of the Union, like the opening day of a new session of Congress or the certification of electoral ballots, helped anchor our democracy. The address was as good as a roadmap as any to what we'd be debating over the course of the next year. In addition, even as I objected to Reagan's views, I understood him to be committed in his way to the broad American experiment and representative government and to ensure its continued existence. We cannot say remotely the same. Okay, here we go. We cannot say remotely the same with Donald Trump. He is largely and proudly ignorant. He is largely proudly ignorant of those traditions to the extent that he grasps them. He has contempt for them. He is interested in unlimited power and in squeezing every corrupt dollar out of the presidency that he crammed into his pockets. And he's in desperate need of the fulsome and brain-desperate need of the brain-curdling sycophancy of those around him. A hallmark of both a weak, insecure man and a leader with an undeniably fascistic personality. The only thing keeping him from facing accountability for very real crimes is the supplication of his fellow GOPers in Congress, who have readily accepted being beaten down into cult-like submission. See? And more than likely, Congress eventually is going to approve through the spirit of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM Al-Shai. Congress is going to approve for American military to put boots on the grounds in Iran. And you heard what the Iranians said, we're waiting for them. He said, we're waiting for them. Hold up, let me get some, hold on, let me get, it's actually Isaiah as well. Where you at, Isaiah? There we go. Is that Isaiah chapter 19? So, I'm reading the scripture real quick. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 19. I'm going to start at the top, and it reads, the burden of Egypt Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. So that, hey, modern day Egypt, city spiritually Sodom and Egypt, in Revelation chapter what, 11, I believe. This AI shit, this crypto, these AI automated computers and all this technology, all the fucking flat screens, all the tablets, all the iPhones, all the robots, all that shit gonna melt, and that's all idols of this present day Egypt. It says verse 2 of Isaiah chapter 19, it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And that's what you have happening now. Egyptians against the Egyptians, aka Americans against Americans. Because what did it just say? Millions of Americans are, what it said? It said, this is what America says what? It says the real state of the union. And so this is revolving around the state of union he's about to give that Tuesday. It says millions of Americans are just disgusted. It says, yes, we're angry about what Donald Trump is doing to our country, but even more than that, we're heartsick over the countless ways in which he is destroying this nation. They talk about America. They talk about Babylon the Great. And what did the Lord say? What? I shall make Esau desolate and bare. I will destroy him. And all his secret places. Now everything is dug up. Now everything is exposed. And now they're losing their kingdom. Now they're actually feeling like they're feeling the losing of their kingdom. That's why he says what? They're destroying the nation in countless ways. It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. That's what you have happening now. You have Edomites against Edomites, whether it be America or America against another Edomite nation. Hence Russia. Because America and Russia are not on the best terms right now. Matter of fact, you just had, I heard that Trump reached out to Putin. Like Trump reached out to Putin. I wonder why. All right. So I'll read that again. So this is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2, and it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. Now America is what? Spiritually Sodom and Egypt pertaining to, matter of fact, let me get that real quick. What's that? Revelation 11. Revelation chapter 11, verse 8, and it says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So spiritually Sodom and Egypt is right here where we're at right now. Just like this is spiritually Rome, or another branch, extension of the Roman Empire. Same place where what? Our Lord was crucified. Same place our people lay dead in this state of mind, this fucking heathenistic state of mind. And soon enough, the Lord is actually going to start putting people, a lot of our people, to death in America. And ultimately, America is going to be what? Destroyed. And it's never coming back. It's never coming back. It's never going back to what it once was, and eventually it's never going to be existing, period. That's the time, that's the day that is fast approaching this place, as its end. Its actual end. Its actual destruction. And then the devils above this place, like the elite Edomites, the small hats, all these Edomites, Europe, NATO, EU, Russia, all the countries where Edomites are the head of the country, they're all going to go down. They're just not all going to be destroyed geography-wise, like America's going to be destroyed, because this right here is that city that's spiritually Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified. Okay, let me go back to Isaiah. Chapter 19. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 3, and it reads, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And that's what's happening right now. He's destroying the counsel. Everything's been exposed. Your skirt is being lifted. Making bare the leg. All your enchantments, all your lies, all your deception is all being found out. But yet you're still going to go to your enchantment. You're still going to rely on your enchantments. That's why the Lord said, what? Stand now with that enchantment. Stand now with thine enchantments. You have no choice now. That's why you never hear Esau apologize, especially for what he did to the Israelites. You're not gonna hear him apologize for what he did to the Iranians. You're never gonna hear the fucking small hats, BB and all them. You're never gonna hear them apologize. You're not gonna hear the Rothschilds apologize for what they did to the earth and almost what they did to the inhabitants of the earth. You're never gonna hear them say that, yo, we're fucked up. No, the Lord is gonna. That's why they're gonna have to be beaten with the rod of iron. That's why when Yahawashi comes back, they're gonna receive no mercy. And they're gonna be beat to pieces, pummeled, if you will. And it says, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. See? And that's what they're doing. The Chaldeans, they're Satanists, they're bullshit rituals. Everything's being exposed on what you did and how foul you are, man. That's why they just went to war. Now fuck it, just let the bombs fly now. All right, but continuing on, Isaiah chapter 19, verse 4, and it says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. And that's who Trump is, a cruel Lord. I guess Americans might die, should be worried about an attack, a retaliatory attack on U.S. soil. What you mean you guess? He didn't ask you if you wanted tomatoes in your grilled cheese, nigga. He asked you, should Americans be worried about a retaliatory attack on U.S. soil? So in their mind, they think like the shit they see in Iran do to this fucking Israel. Do Americans got to worry about that kind of attack happening to them? You said, I guess. But like I said, some people would die. No shit. But how you going to go about saying, I guess? You guess. You guess, nigga. Anyway, and it says, the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM. And that's the spirit that Trump has on him right now. A cruel Lord. A fierce king. Trump is that fierce king. Look how he's going about things. And only what? First few months in office? First 3 months? Not even 3 months. Because it's going to be 3 months, March 20th, which is in 10 days. And look how much he's already done. Look how much he's done. And you have now Americans sitting, and that's why they should not regard their kings or their princes. Because now they see that their kings and their princes don't have their best interests at heart. Their best interests at heart is for the small hats over there in the Middle East, which is not even the real Israelites. And it's not even their land. So you got so-called white people claiming to be the Israelites. Then you have other so-called white people seeing that these so-called white people are helping these so-called white people, but these so-called white people here in America are getting thrown to getting left out to dry. And now you see these, you Schumers, these Trumps, all these government officials talk about the interests of Israel. Israel this, Israel that. Straight cockmouth. Straight up. Straight jockstrap. But you know what? It's all the will of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI anyway, man. Because the Lord said what? I shall have war with Amalek, who are those small hats over there. I shall have war with Amalek from generation to generation. And now the Lord says what? I have to puff them up. That's why they just in this arrogant state of mind. But what did the Lord say? And that pride I shall bring thee down. Matter of fact, what's that in Isaiah? What's that? Isaiah 2? Oh shit. So there's the book of Isaiah chapter 2 verse 11, and it reads, the lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. And that's what's going to happen. The Lord is about to be exalted. YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is about to be exalted. And Yahweh the Heavenly Father is going to be exalted in what? YAHAWASHI, when he comes back to the earth. And then he redeems his true people, the real Israelites. And they put all you other nations down the sides and put you on in captivity. There's going to be no more America. There's going to be no more EU. There's going to be no more NATO. There's going to be no more Russia. There's going to be no more China. You're all going to go back to your old biblical names. And the law of the land is going to be what? The law, statutes, commandments of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. And the same judgments that come from him. So if you caught doing some more shit, you're going to be put to death as the law says. You out here caught worshiping idols, you're going to be put to death. You caught eating abominable foods, you caught stealing, you're going to get all the consequences that come with the law. And the law is going to be fully activated when Yahawashi comes back. And that's how he puts right. That's how righteousness is going to be put on the earth. Anyway, it says verse 12 of Isaiah chapter 2, it says, "For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty." And you hear these niggas talk? They're proud and lofty. Straight pride oozing out of these motherfuckers, man. All day, every day, you hear Trump talk. You hear Pete Hegseth talk. You hear BB talk. You hear just pride, man. And now the whole world is getting sick of it. The whole world been sick of the shit, and it's getting more and more sick. That's how you know we at the end. So these devils need to hurry up, bring up the MOTB. I pray that the Lord hold me down and have me endure to the end, of course, because things gonna get sticky out here for brothers, even in the truth. But this shit something has to give. It can't keep going on like this. It can't. This is not the way. This ain't the way the earth is supposed to be run and inhabited. So yeah, it says, "For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low." So Trump, BB, they all lifted up. Oh, we're gonna have this greater such and such project. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do 50-minute cities, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do just not nobody can touch you. Nothing should stop you, right? But that's why the Lord said what? And the pride and lofty shall be brought down, brought low. It says upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. So you Edomites, you elites, you Rothschild, you elite Edomites, you central banking families, you're going to be brought low because you're already lifted up, and you've been lifted up for a nice amount of time now. So your time, along with your puppets, along with your your minions, your time is up. So call Lord YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI for that. I'm going to jump down to verse 17, and it says, "And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day." And that's what we talk about. When the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. And who is the Lord? YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, YAHAWAH the Heavenly Father, and YAHAWASHI, his son, who's going to be on the earth to be exalted. You know? That's what we waiting for. That's the greater Israel project. I continue on. It says, "And the idols shall be utterly abolished." Shall he utterly abolish? So the AI, your statues, your little things you put in your car, all that bullshit, all them idols is gonna all be abolished. It's all gonna be burnt up. It said they're gonna cast their idols away. So when the Yahawashi comes back, these Moabites, these Elamites, these nations, all these other countries with their gods and their idols, man, it's all gonna be done away with, man. Cause they're gonna know. Well, matter of fact, that's in Isaiah 2. Hold on, let me get that. Look at Isaiah chapter 45, 14. This is a book of Isaiah chapter 45, verse 14, and it reads, "Thus saith the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, the labor of Egypt and merchandise of Ethiopia, and of the Sabaeans, men of stature," which means men of status, "shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee in chains. They shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee." They'll talk about the these, the Israelites. They're going to worship the Israelites. And Yahawashi going to make that happen. "They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, surely God, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, is in thee, and there is none else, there is no God." So they're going to say there's no other God except for YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Because why? They're going to see Yahawashi. And they're going to be like, yo, where's your guys at their God, ain't no God to combat it. What did the Lord say? He said, "I looked and there was no God with me." Verse 15 of Isaiah chapter 45, it says, "Verily, thou art a God that hideth thyself, O God of Israel, the Savior." So when these nations see the Israelites get delivered, they see Yahawashi come and they'll meet him in the air. the ones that's risen up, they meet him in the air. When they see the destruction of America, they also gonna see the salvation of who? The elect of Israel. And they gonna understand like that, surely there is no God but this one. And time is gonna continue. There's gonna be a day after that. But that's why it's called the great day of the Lord. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near when he returns back to the earth. But then after that, he's just gonna be on the earth and do whatever he pleases on the earth, along with his elect, and then also along with his whole nation, which are the Israelites, the descendants of Jacob, who the Lord made a covenant with. We coming into that. That day is fast approaching. So we need these niggas to keep nuking each other. We need them to keep getting more bombs ready. We need them to keep doing wars and rumors of wars, threats of wars. We need that. For what did Yahawashi say? For these things must come to pass. It says, Isaiah chapter 45, verse 16, it says, they shall be ashamed and also confounded. All of them, they shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. There you go. That are makers of idols. But Israel, excuse me. But Israel, Jacob, but Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. You should not be ashamed nor confounded world with the end. Because we don't need to be ashamed, because we have the one true living God. And it's going to be proven when Yahawashi comes. I mean, it's proven now, but it's going to be proven evidently to everybody when everybody lays eyes on Yahawashi and said, what? Every eye shall see him. And when everybody sees Yahawashi on the earth, they see the angels, they see the elect get the power. Once they see all of that, they're going to know that surely God, Yahawashi is with these people. And it's going to be on and popping after that from there on out. Everlasting salvation. It's never going to be taken away. It's never going to end. That's why I said what? World without end. Yahawashi's world, Israel's world, Yahawashi's kingdom, Israel's kingdom, the real Israelites. The real ones, the real Jews, the real descendants of Jacob. That's what's about to take place. And all these other nations, they're going to find out, like I read in Isaiah chapter 40, that you're nothing but nothing and vanity. All right, so with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honor to the Apostle of Israel, aka the Apostle of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.